Hi, welcome to the Temple Bethany Food Network. I'm Sarah Freedman and I'm part of the culinary crew. Today we're going to be making a Passover dessert. At first I thought maybe we would make chocolate chip cookies, but then I thought brownies would also be good and I couldn't decide. So we're going to be making both. We're going to make a brookie. A brookie is part brownie, part chocolate chip cookie. But instead of doing it as a cookie, I thought we'd make it into a bar. We're going to be using an 8x8 square baking dish. We're going to line it with parchment paper. The way you do that is, first I cut out some parchment paper because what we're going to be doing is using it as a sling. So it's 8 inches in width so that it will fit into the baking dish. And then I made another one that will fit in the other direction, like this. First we'll spray the bottom a little bit with some oil so that it will stick. A little bit more. Okay, and that will be the way that we line our pan with the parchment paper. And preheat the oven to 350 degrees. Okay, so now we're going to start making the brookie. We do it in layers. The first layer that we're going to start with is the brownie layer. The ingredients are 1/4 cup of hot water, 6 tablespoons of cocoa. The cocoa can be unsweetened cocoa, Dutch processed cocoa, whichever you prefer. I like Dutch processed because I think it's a richer, darker chocolate. And you can also add a teaspoon of espresso powder. It enhances the flavor of the chocolate. 2 eggs, 1 cup of sugar, half a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 cup of oil, 1/4 cup of matzah cake meal, and a half of cup of chocolate chips. Pour the water into the cocoa, and you can use a whisk and stir it together. Okay. Next, in another bowl, we're going to let this cool a little bit. In another bowl, go ahead and crack the 2 eggs and pour them in. Add the sugar, the salt, and the oil. Use a whisk and mix those together. Pretty well incorporated. Go ahead and add back the cocoa. And mix it in until it's well mixed into the egg mixture. Then we add in the cake meal. And you don't want to over mix it, so just mix it enough to incorporate it into the batter. And then go ahead and fold in the chocolate chips. I'm just using semi-sweet today. If you rather have nuts in your brownies, you can put nuts in too. Okay, and once it's stirred in, you take the pan that you've prepared earlier, and you go ahead and pour that layer into the bottom. Okay, so there's your brownie layer. And we will move on to the chocolate chip cookie layer. Okay, for the cookie layer, we have our ingredients. Half a cup of room temperature butter. It's unsalted butter because we want to be able to control the amount of salt that we put into our cookie layer. A good way to make it room temperature is just leave it out on the counter for about 20 minutes. We have half a cup of brown sugar and 1/4 cup of regular sugar. The brown sugar will give the cookie layer a little more of a caramel flavor and make it a little more chewy. 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of orange juice, half a teaspoon of salt, 3/4 cup of matzo cake meal, a tablespoon of potato starch, half a teaspoon of baking soda, and a cup of chocolate chips. We're going to first whip the butter with the sugars. So I'm going to put the half cup of butter into the bowl. And the sugar, the brown sugar, and the regular sugar. And we're going to whip this until it becomes fluffy and creamy. It'll take about 2 minutes. It's been about 2 minutes, and you can see that it's pretty fluffy now, and it's sort of lightened up in color. Okay, we're going to add the egg into the butter and sugar. I already cracked the egg in the bowl. And the orange juice. And the salt. Okay, that's better. And I'm going to now add the cake meal and the potato starch and the baking soda. Okay, and then I'm going to stir in the chocolate chips. Now this batter is a little bit thick, so the way that you're going to put it onto the brownie layer is we're just going to dollop some spoonfuls over the top evenly. Okay, so here I have my brownie layer, and I'm going to dollop some of the chocolate chip cookie dough on the top. And you don't have to cover the whole top completely, because as it bakes, this cookie layer will spread on top of the brownie layer. Okay, so we have an even layer of the chocolate chip cookie dough, and we're going to bring it over to the oven. We're going to be putting it into the 350-degree oven for about 20 to 25 minutes, but we'll just check it in 15 minutes to make sure it's not browning too much on top. If it is browning too much, you just cover it with some foil. It's been 25 minutes. It smells great. This is a cake tester. Oh, yum. Look. And it comes out pretty clean. So we're going to take this out and let it cool for about 10 minutes before I take it out of the pan. It's been about 10 minutes, and now you'll see how the sling works. You just lift the parchment paper and it comes right out of the pan, and you put it on a cooling rack, and you need to wait another hour before you try it. It's been about an hour, so now we're ready to cut and serve it. So I'm going to bring it over to a cutting surface, and I'm going to cut it into 16 slices. Look at the layers. You have the chocolate chip layer on the top and the dense fudgy brownie on the bottom. We are so ready to try this. Thank you for filming.
No problem.
Got your glass of milk? I got my coffee. Yum. It's got a chewy chocolate chip on top and a really dense fudgy brownie on the bottom.
I can't even taste the matzah.
Really? It's really good. You know what would make this maybe better?
What?
Ice cream a la mode. Let's go make some ice cream. Thanks for watching. I hope you'll enjoy making these brookies at home. Happy Passover.